Hola, ¿qué tal amigos? Buenos días, buenas tardes y buenas noches. No importa la hora que sea, siempre es un gran momento para aprender español con Profesor Pablo y esta noche con Lionel Messi, el gran futbolista. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share. And if you have any lesson requests, please send them as well. Now, we've talked about the present subjunctive. We've had lessons. Frankly, our last lesson was about conjugating in the present subjunctive and the past subjunctive. What we're doing now is we're making the lessons more intense, more compact, and throwing more at you at one time. Even if you feel really good about the subjunctive, wherever you are on the spectrum of becoming completely comfortable and correct and fluent with subjunctive, these next lessons of the Subjunctive Saga will strengthen your skills even more and build up your level of comfort when speaking Spanish. Now, if you are a professional writing and speaking, right, you're going to need to be able to use the subjunctive. If you're a professional, you need to get over the hump. Be honest with you, this is where a lot of people check out. They leave the hotel, they say, I can't handle the subjunctive, but we know from prior lessons and lots of practice that it's very achievable. And it's my job to give you the tools to help you create language and understand language. Okay, the present subjunctive, verb number 8. We know the verb numbering system is critical to our lesson methodology. It's already in your language learning module. 0 is the infinitive. 1 is the ando, yendo, the ing. 2 is the past participle, the ado, ido. 3 is the present tense. 4 is the preterite. 5 is the imperfect. 6 the future. 7 conditional. 8 present subjunctive. And 9 past subjunctive. The present subjunctive, verb number 8. How do you form it? You take the yo-o of the present tense and then change that final O to the OV, the opposite vowel. Opposite vowel for AR verbs is E, and opposite vowel for ER and IR verbs is the letter A. Now there are some irregulars, right? But they're right here. You know, when somebody comes to your house to work on your air conditioning system or your heating system, they're an HVAC specialist. I like to come up with this term here, HVEDS. Remember Al Capone back in the gangster days in Chicago, right? The feds are coming, the feds are coming. Well, think of the word VEDS, feds, VEDS, and I put an H in front. Well, these are the irregulars. Why are these irregular? Because they don't end in O in the yo form of the present tense. So the irregulars for haber, ir, estar, dar, saber, and ser are haya, vaya, esté, de, sepa, and sea. Now, what type of a verb brings on the present subjunctive? Remember our analogy, car, hitch, and trailer. The trailer is a subjunctive. To tow a trailer, you need hitch. The hitch is always the word que over here. That's in the middle. You have your provocador. What is a provocador? It is a word or phrase after which the subjunctive must be used. So right here, these are provocadores, right? We already know that. So what is it, the analogy again? You have to have a car, and these cars are called provocadores, which are certain types of words or phrases, verbs if you will, in the Spanish language after which you must use the subjunctive. And we start off our saga with these common ones right here, and we'll have many more. I don't know how many lessons are coming up to complete this little journey through the subjunctive, but whatever they are, we will complete them very successfully. So again, remember that analogy, car, hitch, and trailer. The car is a provocador, which these are provocadores. The hitch is always the word que, and then the trailer is whatever verb you're using in the subjunctive. If it's present subjunctive, it's going to be opposite vowel, unless it's one of the irregulars. Now, let's take a look at, let's go back here. What verb number can bring on a present subjunctive? Well, the present tense, right? I tell him to study. Le digo que estudie, right? But also anything that's present, like present progressive, I am telling him to study. Le estoy diciendo que estudie. The estoy is present tense. How about a? A is present tense of haber. So I have told him to study. Le he dicho que estudie. So anything present with a 3 in front of it in your verb numbering, it's going to bring on the present subjunctive if it's a provocador. If you go into the future, you're going to bring on the present subjunctive. I will tell her to study. Le diré que estudie. Le pediré que venga. I will ask her to come. Le pediré que venga. Future. But what else is future? That's right. The ir a plus infinitive works just like the future. I'm going to tell her to study. Le voy a decir que estudie. I'm going to ask her to study. Le voy a pedir que estudie. So there you go. So it's not just the present tense in the future, but it could be the present progressive, which is a 31. It could be a present perfect, which is a 32. Or it could be the ir a plus infinitive. All right, so that takes care of the present subjunctive. The past subjunctive is verb number 9. Probably the most complex of all the verbs, but I really like the past subjunctive because there are 0 irregulars. The formula is you take the aorist form of the preterite, which is verb number 4, and change the final O to an A. Every verb. Take fueron. Okay, fueron ends in O-N. Change the O to an A. Now you have fueron. From there you build out all the other forms of the past subjunctive. She told me to go to the office. Me dijo que fuera a la oficina. There it is. It's as simple as that. Dijeron becomes dijeran. Any verb, all verbs take the aorist form of the preterite, change that final O to an A, and you've got yourself the past subjunctive. Okay, and what brings on the past subjunctive? Remember the car, the hitch, the trailer. What kind of verb tense do we need the car to be to bring on the past subjunctive at the end of the sentence? Well, it can be verb number 4, the preterite. I told her to come. Le dije que viniera. It could be imperfect 5. I told her to come all the time. Siempre le decía que viniera. And it also could be the conditional 7. I would tell her to come. I don't know. I would tell her to come. Le diría que viniera. Okay, let's come over here now. We already defined a provocador, a word or a phrase after which you must use the present subjunctive. A provocador, we have some right here. Let's take a look at our first pairing. Espero and esperaba. If you want to say, I hope that, it could be we hope that, they hope that, she hopes that. It could be the verb to hope, right? If somebody hopes for someone else to do something or that something happens, then it's got to be in the present subjunctive because esperar que is a provocador. I hope it does not rain. Espero que no llueva. I hope there is snow in the mountains. Espero que haya, right here. Haya nieve en las montañas. Let's take these into the past. I was hoping it would not rain. Even though I'm saying would, you don't translate back to the conditional in English. Sometimes literal translations work. Like I study, yo estudio, fine. But many times literal translations do not work, and don't be tripped up by that. I was hoping it wouldn't rain. Esperaba que no lloviera. Esperaba que requires the use of the subjunctive, and esperaba is in the past, so we need past subjunctive. Esperaba que no lloviera. I was hoping there would be snow in the mountains. Esperaba que, you take the verb haber, the preterite ellos is hubieron, which we don't use. We just use hubo in the preterite of the verb haber. But hubieron is what the ellos form of haber is. Change that O to an A, and there you've got it. I was hoping there was snow in the mountains. Esperaba que hubiera nieve en las montañas. Let's go down here. Quiero and quería. Quiero. I want everybody to come to the party. Quiero que todos vengan a la fiesta. We're not going to go with quise que. We're going to go with quería. I wanted everyone to come to the party. Quería que todos vinieran a la fiesta. I want everybody to have fun. Quiero que todos se diviertan. I wanted everybody to have fun. Quería que todos se divirtieran. I want you to understand. Quiero que comprendas. I wanted you to understand. Quería que comprendieras. I want it to be tomorrow. Quiero que sea mañana. I wanted it to be tomorrow. Quería que fuera mañana. Dudo. I doubt that they're coming. Dudo que vengan. I doubted that they were coming. Dudaba que vinieran. Digo. The example used earlier. I tell him to study. Now, if you tell someone that, it's not subjunctive. We've had a lesson on that. Decir, when you tell someone to do something, you're going to go subjunctive. But if you're telling someone that, you're simply relaying information and you're going to stay in the indicative, non-subjunctive. Here we go. I tell him to study. Le digo que estudie. I told him to study. Le dije que estudiara. All the time, day in and day out, I would tell him to study. Le decía que estudiara. You see how we're getting good at this? Come over here. Pido, pedí, and pedía. The verb pedir, to ask someone to do something, okay? I asked her to help. Le pido que ayude. I asked her to help. Le pedí que ayudara. Pedía, I used to ask her to help. Siempre le pedía que ayudara. So, to be able to conjugate the verb in the present subjunctive and past subjunctive, that's the gnarly work. That's the hard work. Those are the hours and hours of time that you've put in doing all these lessons, learning the present tense. You know the present tense, you can do the present subjunctive. To be able to do the past subjunctive, you have to know the preterite, and you have to know all the irregular preterites. So you just don't magically start speaking subjunctive, present or past. You need to build it up with the present tense and the preterite. That's all the work that you've put in up to this point. And when we go over this again and again and again, it's like sanding a fine piece of art made out of wood, right? You're sanding and sanding. You just don't go out there and sand it for a half hour and it's done. You're being a big wooden statue or something. You work on that for weeks and months and maybe years, sanding that down and get it so smooth, right? The way you want it to be, so it's perfect. So it is a work of art and a masterpiece. That's where we are. We're on the continuum. We're somewhere on our way to getting that perfectly sanded, smooth, glass-like finish on that wooden statue. So all that we do with the subjunctive is doing nothing but strengthening our skills and building our confidence. Okay, so just to summarize, present subjunctive, you know how to conjugate it. You know what causes it. Past subjunctive, you know how to conjugate it, and you know what verbs bring on the past subjunctive. Here are the irregulars for the present subjunctive. There are no irregulars for the past subjunctive. A provocador is a word or phrase after which you must use the subjunctive. Using the subjunctive is like serving an ace in tennis. It's like throwing a perfect strike in bowling. It's like striking out the side in baseball. It's like scoring a goal in soccer. It's like hitting a home run. Maybe if you use something like double subjunctive. For example, I was hoping that you could come to my house so you could see the photos. Esperaba que pudieras venir a mi casa para que pudieras ver las fotos. Double subjunctive. That's like hitting a grand slam. So this makes you a power hitter. All these things I talked about, like in sports. To use the subjunctive in writing, we don't write Spanish that much, but some of you will, professionally, you will, and just personally, writing letters, etc., emails and text messages. But to speak Spanish with the subjunctive, again, you become a power speaker. Like a power homer, a power speaker. And I will tell you, in my growth on the continuum, and I'm not at the top, I'll never get to the top. I'm still climbing. It seems like the more I climb, the higher the mountain gets. But I will tell you this. I have heard it said to me so many times, and in my career as a teacher, as a bilingual examiner, when I hear someone use the subjunctive comfortably and correctly, they've got it. I know they're fluent. I know that their level of sophistication in Spanish is at the top rung of the ladder. They're there. And so we just want to maintain our skills, right? Maintenance. But we want to strengthen our skills because I don't think anyone, even myself, we all can use review and everything to even be stronger at it. Look at the great athletes. They practice and practice the same thing over and over and over again. Okay, that's it for now. Thank you. Subjunctive Saga 1 is in the books. We'll be doing the next lessons. I'm not going to have to go over this again. I'm just going to put common provocadores here on the board. I'm going to talk to you about Some, they call them adverbial conjunctions that are always subjunctive, some that are sometimes subjunctive. We'll talk about that. We're going to look at a lot of things. We're going to look at the three ands, right? It's going to be a lot of fun. Anyways, thank you so much. Love you guys. Be good. Be safe. Eat well. Drink your water. And be kind to everyone. Okay, thank you. Gracias. Hasta pronto. Bye.